Oh, sorry guys. I just realized I was muted. So let me read his sorry guys. Oh, so sorry. So welcome to I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was muted. So welcome to our SP Talks Live. So today's topic is on stress and rest culture of students. And today we have Ganyu Adebayo with us. So I'm going to be reading a short bio on him. So Gani Adebayo is a chemical engineering graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University. He was a former SPOAU financial secretary. He's a lover of the energy sector, alternative, renewable, and conventional forms of energy. He researched on production and processing of pyrolysis oil from waste as his undergraduate research project. Gani Adebayo interned at Lafarge Cement Ewekoro plant as a process intern. He underwent his 1 year mandatory national service at Gombe, that's NYC, at Gombe State, where he also worked as a process engineer in Haka Cement, Gombe. Currently, he's a technical service engineer at Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals, focusing on the Butsama and selective hydrogenation units of the refinery. So, as you guys can see, the person that we've invited today is someone in the industry, and I'm sure everybody's excited for that. So, I think the trending thing right now is the fact that ASU strike has finally been suspended, and very soon we'll all be resuming back to school. We would have classes back to back, and that brings up a lot of stress. So we understand that, and we as a body want to find a way to impact our members. So that's why we organize this session for you guys to understand how to balance it all. So I'll be inviting the speaker for today, Ganu Adebayo. So also any question or comment you guys have, you can leave it in the comment section. So over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Adebayo. So, she has read about me already. So then, congratulations to the private, public university students. So you guys have resumed now. Congratulations. But still have a lot of things to tackle. You know, being out of school for like 8 months, from February 14 to October 14, that's quite a long time. So there will be a lot of challenges that one will actually be faced with. So that was why this topic, stress and rest culture of students, is actually organized. So without wasting much of our time, so today our presentation will actually be a kind of lively one because when we spend too much time explaining one thing, there is no how you actually get bored. So I'll try as much as possible to make the presentation as short as possible and making it interactive at the same time. Okay, sorry, a minute please. So can we see this slide? Going there?
Yes, we can see your slide. We can see your slide.
Going there?
Yeah, I can see your slide.
Oh, okay, thank you. So like I said earlier, stress and rest culture of students. So what are the things we'll actually be looking out for? So we're looking at what stress is. And then when we say rest, what does it really mean? And then what are these things that actually cause stress in students? And then the stress itself, what effect does it actually have on the students? So then how can we actually manage this stress? So that will be our main focus for today. Stress. So stress is a physical and mental response of the body to demands made upon it. So there's no how, even if you engage yourself in sports and then it gets to a point, you still have to make sure that you have some rest. So in football, after playing first half, you have a rest. So then you begin second half. So stress is how we feel when we are under pressure or threatened. So our lecturer can tell us that okay, we have this assignment, you have to submit it tomorrow morning, and you know that you have just few hours. So the only thing you can do is just to make sure that you put yourself under pressure and then to make sure that you deliver it. So it usually happens when we are in a situation we don't feel we can manage or control. So then at that point we feel tensed. So basically that is what stress is all about. So now rest. Rest is a situation of cease work or movement in order to relax, sleep, or recover strength. So after doing a lot of things, okay, your lecturer gave you an assignment to do, you know, oh, I need to meet up with this thing. So even if you are going to meet up, at least try and have some rest. So when you rest, that is when your brain will be able to process some things. So if you are thinking about something in a particular way, when you rest very well, you'll be able to think in another direction. You think outside the box. Or when you are so tensed, you are stressed, whatever, there is possibility of you even doing what you are not supposed to do. They'll ask for 1 plus 1. You know the answer is 2. You might end up writing 3 because you think 1 is the same thing as 2. So then at that point, you should know that you need rest. So what are the causes of stress in students? Number one, examination. So by the time we resume, so our lecturer said, okay, I don't know, maybe you guys are in first semester or second semester or how close the exam is, but I know that by the time exam comes, you people will have to you have to read, and because not all of us have actually been reading at all. So some of us will have to go through the stress of reading the way we normally read before. So, and before we can actually get to that point, it will take some time. I think those that did IT can actually testify. So, when exam comes, you'll be so stressed because you have to make sure that all the courses you were taught, you went through, you go through them so that you'll be able to answer them. So, exam stress is there. So you want to make sure that you pass. You want to make sure that okay, you have your A's, you clear your papers. So you have to make sure that you read, and as a result of that, you stress yourself. Another thing again is poor time management. So though I said we should always make sure that we rest very well, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we plan our time very well. Because if we don't plan our time very well, we just see that at the end of the day, after resting our head and everything is okay, so then when you are supposed to do something, you now see that okay, you don't have enough time again. Poor time management. When you are supposed to rest, rest. So when you are supposed to work, work. So but make sure that you put some modalities in everything. Another thing again, how returning to studies. So for like 8 months, we've actually been out of school. So for us to now go back and start reading, like I said, it's going to be strange kind of. So before we can now say that, okay, let me read this, let me read that, let me read this, let me read that. You see that your brain will not actually be able to process it the way it has always been processing it because you have been out of school for quite a long time. So returning to studies, you might feel stressed. Deadlines. I mentioned it earlier that okay, our lecturers will give us something to work on. So then we'll say that oh, I need to make sure I meet the deadline. I need to make sure I meet the deadline. So at that point, there are so many things that will be going through your head. You'll be like, okay, ah, well, should I do it this way? Should I do it this way? So then you'll be like, okay, let me meet my colleagues. How are we going to run this thing? Just to make sure that you meet deadline. So, but in the course of doing that, you see that you'll be really, 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 really stressed. So that's another point again. That's another thing that causes stress in students. Poor housing. Well, I know our landlords, our landlady, they are waiting for us already. So when we resume, I know that's one. thing we are going to face again. Okay, your house rent is due. You have to make sure that you renew it. So then you will be telling them that okay, we've been out of school for like 8 months. So okay, don't let me say you fight your landlady or your landlord, but at least you have to make sure that you sort all those things out first. So in the course of doing that, you really feel stressed. And even if you have your house and the condition of the house is not really conducive, so like maybe when it's raining, the roof of the house is leaking. So while studying, you still be thinking about, oh, hope my house is not flooded. So then by the time you think about all these things, you see that you really be stressed. And I know there are quite a number of stuff too that causes stress in students. And another thing again, which I did not include, is uh is the way we eat. Some of us, yeah, we drink. Maybe we will not eat in the morning, so then in the afternoon we take gari. Then at night, maybe we buy as the hot, we buy donuts or pop off or whatsoever. We buy it, and at the end of the day, we see that we'll be hungry. So when you are hungry and you want to read at the same time, sorry, nothing is going to enter your head. So in this point, at that particular spot, you see that you are really stressed, and whatever you do at that point, you see that it might not actually go in line with what you're supposed to do. So this is thinking about the amount of work you have to complete within the next few weeks. So you'll be like, damn, my life is in a mess. So because you have to make sure that you meet up with deadline. And another one is this. So when a deadline is approaching, so you have to go and meet your colleagues. God, Abraham, please do this for me. I need answer to this. Um, uh, I'm Ife, please, I need answer to this thing. Don't worry, I will copy everything. I'll make sure that whatever I copy is not the same thing as what is inside the booklet. Because at that point, the only thing running through your mind is just to make sure that you meet up with the deadline. You make sure that you submit. So at that point, you just do anything to make sure that you get your work done. What are the effects of stress? So mentally, stress actually it has its own effects. So at that point, you see that whatever you think about will not go in line with what you are supposed to do. So somebody can just come and meet you now. Okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we are supposed to do it. But because your mind is occupied, okay, let's say you want to read CHE 301, you want to read CHE 308, you want to read chemistry, you want to do all these ones, everything on your head, and you have to make sure that all these things you plan. So, like I said the other time, I said time management is actually very important. So if you don't plan your time very well, you see that you just be everything will messed up. Yeah, everything will messed up. So you think about this one, it's in the wrong way. You think about that in the wrong way. So the only thing we can do at that point is to make sure that we have some rest. Another effect is emotional effects. So emotional effects at that point, okay, for example now, uh okay, this actually happened to me recently. So a friend of mine came to visit me. We're both tired because we just got back from work. So then, because he's actually a guest, so he had to tell me that okay, Ganu, I need this. Okay, I did it. Ganu, I need that. I did it. So he had been asking, okay, this. I did everything. So then it got to the point. You're like, Ganu, I need this thing again. I was like, guy, what's going on? Free me. So because at that point I was actually stressed. So emotionally, you see that I've been impacted. So because what I'm supposed to do at that point, that was not what I did. So I had to just scream at him, though I apologized. How physically. So at that point, when you are stressed physically, you see that even no matter the amount of food you eat, it will not show. Though we have some people like that. They don't have the body, but when they eat a lot of food and it won't still show. And there are some people they have the size, and when they eat small food, it will actually show on their body. So physically, stress will actually drain it will drain you. There's nothing you can do about that. It will drain you. So you just see that you are losing weight because you have a lot of things running through your mind. And all these things you have to make sure that you solve them. So in the course of making sure that you solve all these things, you just even when you are sleeping, the thoughts of okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, will still be in your mind. So at that point, you see that physical stress, mental stress, and emotional stress, everything is actually playing on you. So those are the effects of stress. So then, how can we manage stress? Think positively. I can do this. But the moment you think about it, that oh, I can't do this thing, I can't. Just know that even if you try as much as possible to make sure that you do it, you won't still be able to do it. And when you make effort to make sure that you do it, but because deep inside your mind, you know that this thing you cannot do it. So no matter what you do, you won't still be able to achieve all these things. So the only thing you need to do there is think positively, motivate yourself, tell yourself, okay, I can do this thing. You know that you've actually been away from school for quite a long time. So what you just need to do is tell yourself, okay, I can do it. These assignments, I'll try my best and I'll make sure I solve it. Okay, so that is one. Another thing again, look after yourself. So somebody gave you an assignment, okay, please, Oinda, do this for me. Please, Oinda, please do this for me. Oinda, do this for me. Everybody, Oinda, do this. Oinda, do that. Oinda, do this. Oinda, do that. So while you are doing it, yes, it's actually be helping you one way or the other. But at the same time, you need to look after yourself. I need to rest. So some people, while out of school, for in the past 8 months, they've actually been engaged in one or two things. So making sure that okay, they have money. So when school resumes, so all those people, just look out for them. They are not there to read again. What they just need is let me just find a way of doing this thing and you graduate. Whatever comes out of it, I'll take it like that. So, but you that you know that okay, this is not about just reading, but you know that okay, in the nearest future, all these things that I've been reading, they'll still come out, and then there's things that you still make use of. So while you're giving you all these things, tell yourself, I need some rest. So when it's time for you to rest, rest. When it's time for you to work, work. Don't let somebody push you. So the books and the bookies, yeah. So you to find time to rest. And those that are not ready to read at the same time. So try as much as possible to read so that you can give those that are not those that are reading time to think about other things. Confront the problem. This is the problem that I have. So this is what I need to do. So strategize. Okay, the first thing I need to do. If I this is the first thing, okay. Step one, I will do this. Step two, I will do this. Step three, do this. So by the time you see that okay, you've broken all these things down, you see that okay, I think this thing is actually easier than I expected it. So then you use to solve all these things because you've confronted the problem. You've seen it that okay, this assignment they gave to us, according to the way the lecturer explained it in the class, if I should do it this way, I will get it. If I do it that way, I'll get it. Oh, good. So then when you do it, you see that even by the time they give you another assignment or you try and lay your hands on past questions, you see that those actually come out easy for you because problems that are actually harder than that, you've gone through it. So attack the problem, confront the problem, find some distractions. Even if you want to sleep, sleep. But at the same time, go out, go out, play football. If you play football, go out and play it. If you dance, go out and dance. just find some time. So, and even if you like, okay, those in OAU, they'll understand, okay, there's this most 101 and other courses like that, and if you understand. So even if you're not doing offering those courses, at least just go there just for sightseeing, see the way things are going, relax your mind, go out. If it's a sport, do sports. So whatever you need to do, just find some things to just clear off your mind that okay, at this point, I'm not reading. This is what I need to do. And in the course of making sure that you distract yourself, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. I play football. You go in the morning, you play football. In the evening, you find another thing to do. You go there. So then you don't have time to read. You see that at that point, nobody will actually tell you that you are the off the track. So find some distractions, but don't overdo it. Express yourself. Ah, man, I have a problem. Oinda, this is a problem. Ife, this is a problem. What I need you to do is, okay, how am I going to do this? Even I think there was a time when with this trending video of a police officer that was saying, help me. They carry me, they go where I don't know. So you too, when you know that okay, this thing, you're not getting it, call for help. Help me. This thing that I'm reading is not entering. So what do I need to do? Call for help. Let people assist you. You cannot do it on your own. So then you just know that okay, by the time you call for help and they assist you, this has actually it has helped me a lot. Because I could remember then when we were offering one course like that. So that day, after solving a lot of questions, so then I saw this particular question is on control. So then I had to call my friend, Abraham, and this particular question, yeah, I have been trying to solve it, but I can't actually solve it. What do I need to do? So then Abraham said, okay, just do it this way, do it this way. So then I did it. I told him, okay, this was what I got. So then Abraham said, okay, good, that's the answer. So then question B, I tried it. So then he said, no, this is what you need to do. So then I tried it again. It was actually late at night in that time. So then Abraham was actually putting me through, like, okay, this is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it. So which I did. And at the end of the day, I solved the question. So we got to the exam hall the following day, and luckily, similar question actually came out. But because I've solved it before, I've called for help when I needed it. So I was able to solve the question, and I I did my best, and I think I have my A there. So managing stress when you have everything, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. So you look at your to-do list, you see that this thing is plenty. So strike out of those things. You don't try. You need rest. It will take some rest. So cancel it. Have some rest. So then you start again. Because at some point you feel like oh, there's nothing I can do. Everyone else is against you. So and another thing again, eat good food and then take fruits. That's really important. Though I can say while in scripture, not everyone will say I'm buying fruit, let me buy orange, let me buy this, let me buy that. At least once in a while, let's try as much as possible to make sure that we eat good food. So when it's time for us to rest, let's rest. When you have a problem, call out for help. So when you see the problem again, try as much as possible to look at it. How can I actually solve this particular problem? Tell yourself, I can do this. Look after yourself. Don't let somebody use you. So before they use you, you should try to use your sense. So when you see that okay, all these things I actually put them to work. So people will tell you you have a beautiful smile. So it's not left for you the way you are going to return the gesture. So thank you very much.
So thank you. That was a very wonderful session. I really learned a lot about managing stress and some of the effects that stress can have on you. And there were a lot of very, very good points. I think the one I really liked was about distractions, because I think a lot of time people always focus on, oh, I have to do this, I need to pursue success, all those kind of things. And you forget that it's okay to take a step back and relax and like have something else to do just to take your mind off it. So does anyone have any questions to ask? You can drop your questions in the comments. So I'll just take you can take the questions, or but let me go ahead and ask my own question. So when you're
That's
talking about managing stress, like I said, distractions. So
like
what like you don't want a situation whereby you also mentioned it that the distractions we should not also like, oh, you want to play football, you play football from morning to night. But how do you avoid like, because of you want to distract yourself, how do you avoid it? How do you prevent it from avoiding your deadlines or the tasks that you want to achieve? Like you don't get too carried away. I'm like, oh, my own distraction is I'm watching movie and I have an exam the next day. And I spend the entire 24 hours binge watching a series because I was carried away and it's too interesting. So how do you kind of balance it?
okay. So when I said like I said the other time, I said proper time management. So you know that you're having exam the next day. So it's not actually proper for you. It's not actually proper for you to go out and say, okay, I want to go and play football when you know that okay, you have exam the following day. So at that point, what you need is just to look after yourself. Make sure that you rest. That's what you need. At that point, you rest. Because if you say, okay, because I want to make sure that I find some things to distract me, you now go there, go out there, you play football, and you know that you still have a lot of things to cover. So at that point, you see that you are already tending towards failing, towards failure. But don't let me say towards failure because I don't know what you've actually done before that period. So while looking for that, make sure that it doesn't affect what you are supposed to do. So you do the right thing at the right time. That's it. I hope I answered the question. Okay. So what happens when there are too many deadlines? Okay. So let's say you have like three courses now. So and you need to make sure that you meet up with deadline. So what you just need to do is there's no how you still have people in your class that are brilliant. Make it a kind of division of labor. Let some people work on a particular course. Let some people work on a particular course. Let some people work on a particular course. So then by the time you do this, at the end of the day, you still go back and make sure that you read all these things. But at least just to make sure that you meet up with deadline, get the assignment, okay, this. So by the time you combine everything together, you actually it's just like a teamwork at that point. So with that, you'll be able to meet up with deadlines. So that's that.
So there's a question from Ephraim says there's this trend about Gen Zs and HR personnel in the workplace. How best do you think I should approach my supervisors when I am stressed? Like, do
Okay.
you understand the question, or I should kind of
Yeah,
rephrase it?
I understand the question. Well, even your boss can get tired. So it's not a German machine. So it gets tired. But what happens is that okay, the manner of approach actually matters. And then you have break time as well. So when it is break time, make sure that you use it. Not that okay, when it is break time, that is when you now start knowing that okay, there's still one particular task that I'm still working on. I want to make sure that I finish this thing before I go on break. Yeah, it's good to complete task, but at the same time, if you use all your time making sure that you complete a particular task, you just see that by the time people are done with break, that's when you now will say, okay, I'm ready for break. And at that point, you might have maybe like 10 minutes left, and that will not actually be enough. So before you know it, you just see that when they give you a particular task, you won't even know what to do. You just be holding your head. God, what should I do? How should I go about it? Because when they give you time to rest, you did not rest. So then when you are tired again, approach your supervisor. So like a case study now was when during my service year, so we're given a task that I should determine the percentage purity in gypsum. Sha. So then my boss asked me that I should be coming in the afternoon. So then I work from afternoon till night. So then not go to it. So I've been doing that for like let me say like 2 weeks, going in the afternoon and doing that. So then I told my boss one night like that, sir, I don't think I will be able to complete the number of sets of this work I'm supposed to do. So he said, what happened? He said, I told him, sir, I'm tired. My leg is even aching because throughout that period, I'll have to be walking, to be doing this test while standing, nothing like sitting down. So if I'll be using 8 hours, that means I'll be standing for 8 hours. So I explained to him, he understood. So and he said, okay, when you are done with the third set, you can go home. So the manner of approach actually matters. So don't say, okay, I know my rights. Yeah, you know your rights. Even your boss too knows his rights. But manner of approach matters a lot. So when you are stressed, convey it to your supervisor, sir, this is that. But don't be too blunt and say, okay, I don't tire. No. Even if I'm the boss, I'll be like, that's rude. But at least try to convey it in a friendly manner. And if your boss is someone that is understanding as well, he will actually tell you, okay, don't worry, you can take a break. And even if it is your lecturer, because there are sometimes some lecturers will just be in class 2 hours, they will not go out. So at that point, that is where you need your class rep, Ife, Alpha. So then Ife will now be the one to go and meet the lecturer. So don't you think you can just go on maybe like 10 minutes break? So the lecturer can be like, okay, are you guys tired? And you said yes, okay, oh, good. So let's go on break. So you go on break. So and sometimes the lecturer will just tell you that okay, just give me 10 minutes. After these 10 minutes, we can call it a day. So the way it happens at workplace, that's the same thing I'm going to apply in school the same way. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's also part of what you talked about in managing stress, express yourself. So I think
Yeah.
it also falls under that. If you know how to relate the information to your supervisor and just explain, because everybody has a limit. So if you stress yourself and you fall sick, they'll replace you with another person. That's just the sad truth. So
Even
I think you answered that question.
before you leave that place, they will tell you even sometimes when you do some task and you don't do it well, your boss will tell you that if care is not taken, I will send you out and before 3 o'clock I have another person. So just know that you are replaceable. So if you do anything, you don't take care of yourself, another person.
Another question here. So yes, I think this is something everybody question everybody wants to ask. They said, so David said, what do you advise we do as school is resuming soon and it may choke? So I think like a lot of people are panicking about the fact that we've not touched our books in like 8 months, and lecturers, you know how lecturers will just keep on dropping materials, and some people are even resuming into exams and all this like thinking about this self, like mentality and everything is stress itself. So like how do you like what can you say to we students, like how do we come out of this ASU strike period going to school without stressing ourselves so much?
Okay, well, the environment you find yourself will shape the kind of the way you're going, the way your body will look like. Okay, you know that we've been at home for like 8 months, so your body is already used to resting, not doing much. So then when you now resume and you know that come on, we've resumed to work, you have quite a lot of things to do. So at that point, okay, let me use the word that you used, choke. So you choke. So then they're like, okay, so what do I need to do? Like I said, if it's something of deadline, if it's something of deadline, try as much as possible to work in group. So because when when you work as a group, when you work as a group, you see that all these tasks you'll be able to break it down. Even if you are going to do it together, you won't spend much time because this one will tell you that, okay, if you do it this way, you'll get it. This one will tell you that if you do it this way, you get it. So you have a lot of courses as well to read. So because I could remember then during my undergraduate days, so we had to pick some people out of us that, okay, this particular course, so you did want to take it. This particular course, you did want to take it. So at that point, when you, because your lecturers will explain it to you, yes, but at the same time, you still need some explanation. So let somebody that understands the course come out, explain it to you. Another person will come again. Okay, this particular course, this is how we are going to do it. Explain it. So by the time, let's say in a particular course now, let's say you are 15 in a class, and you have 20 people understanding the course. So then another course, you have like 25 understanding the course. So those 25 that understand it, we teach those that don't understand. Those 20 that understand, we teach those that don't understand. So in the course of doing that, you see that the work will actually be made easier. So just make sure that you do a kind of teamwork. It's actually, even in workplace, they will tell you teamwork is very important. So work together as one.
Yes, teamwork is actually very important because you can't do everything on your own. So you need assistance from one or two people. So another question here is also, what is the key to balance? What is the key to balance learning a skill effectively and keeping a high CGPA? I think like a lot of us during this strike period, we started learning new skills. Like some people are into designing, UI, UX, data analytics, a lot of these other things, and they still want to continue. But our degree is also there. So how do you think students can balance these two and not like um as usual avoid stress? How can they balance the two, learning the skill effectively and keeping the ICGP, which is everybody's goal as a student?
So everyone actually has their own primary assignment. So going to school, you need to study. So that is your primary assignment. While you were at home, you could spend, let's say, 8 hours on what you are learning. Sometimes you can decide that, okay, I want to spend up to 10 hours, or at least in between you'll be taking break. But since you know that school has resumed already, you need to prioritize your studies. So when you read, even if it is just, though it depends on what you are learning though, even if it is 2 hours in a day that you want to dedicate to your skill, just to make sure that, okay, you don't remain stagnant, you continue with that. So then, and on the other way around too, you make sure that your primary assignments, you don't leave it untouched. So make sure that your book, your studies, you face it squarely. But because you don't want to forget the skill that you have acquired. So make sure that, okay, even if it's just 2 hours in a day, dedicate it to it. So everything still boils down to time management. So the way you manage your time will actually determine how your CGPA will turn out to be. So if you manage your time very well, you still have your very good CGPA. Though what happens is just that the time you are dedicating to your skill will reduce. So reduce the time you've dedicated to your skill, and then make sure that your studies, you face it squarely. So with that, you should be able to have a very good CGPA.
Okay, so we majorly have to focus on our primary assignment.
Yeah, your
So
primary.
let me see, let me wait. Does anybody still have any question? Let me give people some minutes before we round up. I don't think. Okay, let me just ask one question, my own question. So I think, well, it may be related to people management and all, but then, like you said, like we need to work with people. So in a scenario like, let's say you are in a team and you guys have a like a project to handle. and okay, you're the team leader, quite alright. You, to avoid stress and all, you've done proper time management, you delegate the task. Okay, so and so should do this, so and so should do that. So what kind of, like, how do you handle a situation whereby the other members are not as will I say effective? Is that the word I'll use? Or like they're not time conscious, or like, a lot of students have this habit of waiting to the last minute to do their task. Like, oh, we are submitting this assignment tomorrow. Assignment that they're giving us like 2 weeks ago. You see people rushing to do the assignment 1 hour to the deadline. So how do you manage a team like that when you have people like last minute people?
Okay, so you find yourself as a team lead and you want to make sure that okay, you meet up with deadline. And you know that there are some people is until 11th hour that they start rushing that okay, we need to make sure that we do this. So what happens is as a team lead, let's say you have three tasks to carry out. So you can divide it. So what happens is that you are going to have combination of the serious ones and the unserious ones in the particular task. So that because if you have unserious people in a particular task, just know that that task you will not get, they will not do it. So what happens is that make sure that you have combination of the serious and the unserious ones, combination of serious and the unserious ones, and make sure that the serious ones that you have, they have the mentality of getting work done on time. Because this actually happened to during my undergraduate days. So we had to make sure, okay, after giving out the task, that this. So the team lead, though can say maybe that's not how it's supposed to be, but at least the team lead will still have a kind of secret team. So that secret team is just like a backup team. So if those that you assign the task to, if they're unable to do it, you still be putting pressure on them just to make sure that they achieve it. So if they're able to achieve it, so then you can have a blend of what the backup team did and what the other team did. You can have a blend and at the same time just be like, oh, I think we have a very good result in this way. So have a good blend in your team. If you're having the serious ones, try to motivate them, hinder them. Then you try and check on them at the same time. Because some people, if you don't check on them, they will not do the work. They'll be like, there's still time, there's still time. But tell them that, okay, it's actually better to do the work now. If there's anything we need to look at again, so we can look at it. And then after the day, we can say, okay, we are done. Then we even have enough time to rest. Or even if you don't want to do everything once and for all like that, okay, this particular task that I'm giving you, this is how we are going to do it. Okay. After doing this one, then we move to this one. After this one, we move to this one. You've tried to break it down instead of rushing everything at the same time. So with that, you should be able to have a very good result from your team.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you accepting our invite to talk to us today. I really learned a lot, and there are some things I'm going to work on to handle the stress of when we resume. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who stayed for the live. Just before I end the broadcast, we'll be having another event coming up. That's on the 21st of this month. That will be on soft skills development. So you guys should look forward to that. Would share the flyers out. And ensure you're following our social media pages on LinkedIn, Instagram, SPOAU, on Twitter also. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. One fact is, if you joined this live late, or you've missed any of our previous lives, all the videos are re-uploaded on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. Or if there's something that, oh, you remember that this was said, you can't remember how to handle it, you can come back and watch it on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. So that's the end of our podcast. See you all in the next SP Talk session.
Bye.